setting your dreams alight. Mindset shifts, empowering quotes, fueling your fire, keeping you afloat. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Uplifting chats, start your day, guiding you gently, showing the way. Empowering words, a soothing balm. In our platform, find your calm. Mindset shift, embrace the change. Stay inspired, let your goals arrange. Daily motivation, your daily lift. You got this, embrace the gift. Hashtag shift, embrace the change. Stay inspired, let your goals arrange. That's the daily motivation, your daily lift. You got this, embrace the gift. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts.
Good night, each and everyone. Welcome to the Conversation Motivational Hour with yours truly, SGGR, Seon Rodney. I have tonight with me an awesome and an amazing guest making his debut on the Conversation Motivational platform. And I always said for 5 minutes, you're a guest. After 5 minutes, you are family. And I have tonight with me is Edie Clark. But before we get into my guest tonight, I want to say welcome to the Conversation Tribe Community and Village, the Walmart of social media. Yes, you heard correctly. The Walmart of social media. What's that mean? The Conversation Motivational Hour, Conversation Motivational Date Night, Conversation Motivational Sip and Chat, Conversation Global Community, Conversation Small Business Community, Conversation Together We Rise Ministry, Conversation Yahweh Ministry. With that being said, we are the Walmart of social media, the one-stop place to be. Our love language is a value. Our mantra is a value. Our sweet spot is a value. And our mantra is a value. We value it in the penthouse, under the bridge. We value. Have more money, no money, enough money. We value. Married or single or divorced. We value. Have a job or don't have a job. We value. Oh yes, whether you're happy or sad, we value. I want to tell you, we believe in the reciprocal nature of value. Happy birthday to all those who celebrate a birthday. Happy anniversary to all who celebrate an anniversary. Congratulations to those who bring a bundle of joy into this world, the next leader of tomorrow. We celebrate with you purchasing a new home, you purchase a new car, increasing salary, promotion on your job. With that being said, those who right now are the ICU, CCU, the 3-yard nursing, the intensive care unit, right now preparing to go to the OR, the operation room, I want to pray that Yahweh Amashiach, the promised Messiah, is about to show grace, how his healing virtue, his miracle hands is gonna touch you wherever you are right now, whether you're in the long-term care facility, whether you are in the nursing home, wherever you are right now, in your jacuzzi, the lazy boy chair, in your home, your veranda, your landing, your kitchen, your bridge, wherever you are right now. Thank you for tuning into the Conversation Motivational Hour with yours truly once again, Seon Rodney. With that being said, tonight I have with me no other than Edie Clark. Edie Clark, making his first debut tonight on the Conversation. He's no stranger to me. He's my brother. He is my friend. And we also happen to share the same space. A sanctuary of his presence, Kingdom Ministry, which I submit under his leadership as the men's department president, director, leader. So I am under his leadership and stewardship of, Sanctuary of his presence, Kingdom Ministry, Inc. Also, E.D. Clark is the owner of a thriving business which deems to be successing business that is getting into spaces and places. Also, he is a husband, he is a father, he is a Guyanese also from the Cooperative Republic of Linden. Oh yes, and he is a friend, and he is a person that I want to tell you that he always have a heartbeat for people. He have a heartbeat for humanitarian work. He have a heartbeat for community endeavors, and this young man have a heartbeat for souls. And with that being said, I have my amazing brother tonight. Once again, he is E.D. Clark, my brother, my friend, my leader, which I submit under him in the men department because he is my leader. So their measure of mentorship from him to me, I'm his mentee in the men's department. With that being said, the privilege is mine to hand over now, no longer, because 5 minutes is about to expire as a visitor. Now you're a family of the conversation. And feel free to be a part of the Conversation Global Network family. With that being said, the privilege is mine on behalf of myself, donors, covenant partners, tribe, community, and village of this august body, friends and family, donors and covenant all, to present and to yield the floor to no other than E.D. Clark.
Hey, my brother. Hey, my brother. Man, I hope I could keep up with this energy. I hope I can keep up with the energy you got, man. You got all the energy first. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to come on here and share and spend some time with you on your show. Congratulations on the work you're doing. Good job spreading positive message, spreading a positive message. You know, when you look on social media and a lot of shows and things now, it can be, sometimes it can not be positive. It can be a whole heap of negativity, information, and so on and so forth. But congratulations on doing an amazing job on sharing a positive message, and a message that includes Christ, a message that includes the kingdom, and so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward to tonight we having a very good conversation, talking, communicating on things, sharing information on things. Hopefully, our prayer is that persons can be encouraged. We can, persons can be moved to do things and understand, as a Christian and being in the kingdom, it doesn't mean you cannot achieve stuff and you cannot do things with your life, and so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward for the conversation, my brother.
So once again, welcome to all tonight, our tribe, our community, and our village of the conversation, this august platform. And let's see in the comment section on the screen who we have tonight with us. We have Pastor Seon Rodney with us. We have Sean Rodney, Deacon Sean Rodney with us. We have Quincy Adolphus going with us. So we're running very fast. I see Nikki with us. I see Pharrell Edwards with us. I see, I missed somebody. I see Keisha Park with us. I see Priscilla Chisholm with us. So once again, tonight I have E.D. Clark. And as I said, E.D. Clark have a measure of mentorship over my life because he is a deacon at Sanctuary of His Presence, and he's also in charge of the men's department. He is our men fellowship leader of Sanctuary of His Presence, and I'm humbly happy to be under your leadership where you can mentor me, I can learn from you, we can learn from each other. Because Dick, there is a saying that, when you stop learning, you stop growing. And I don't want to take that posture because I always want to learn. One of my things so many years that I inculcate in my life, a day mustn't go by without I learn something new. I intentionally want to know something new before the
Yeah.
ending of 24 hours. And I learned a lot of new things from sitting under your leadership. And another thing I try to incorporate in my life, that I must submit to leadership, because if you cannot submit to leadership, therefore you cannot learn anything. Sometimes you think you're too full, and when you're full, therefore you don't have capacity to receive. So I always come with an empty cup that I will have capacity to receive. So tonight I'm going to learn from you, you're going to learn from me, and everyone going to be going to learn from each other. So once again, I
Yes.
know that you have a thriving business, you're a businessman. I know you are a spiritual leader. I've seen you in spaces and places. I have seen you have the heartbeat for a community. You have a heartbeat for humanitarian work, looking from the back and see what you're doing in the village day of Linden, that started with your vision, and you have taken it to a pinnacle, you've taken it to a height, and I can see the trajectory. I can tell you're going to be awesome 10 years from now. I can see with a global mindset. I've seen what you have done in the transformational mindset at Sanctuary is present with the men's ministry and so forth and such like. And then I've learned from you sometimes, in conversation, I can see how futuristic you are while you are in the present. With that being said, God has given every one of us our own different skill set and family. Let's show Deacon Eddie, the businessman, the CEO. He's not an employee, he's a CEO, he's a owner. Let's engage and show him some love. You know how we do it conversationalists, we are the talking platform. So use the keyboard, let him know that he is onto the conversation platform and so on. So my brother, I want to hand over you tonight, and I want you to talk to us first of all. How was business for you in the perspective before you become a believer, before you really surrender your life to Christ and have that business mindset and so forth? How was that perspective you had, and then you walk from that into now being a business owner and as a believer, as a son of God, as a kingdom man?
Well, first, I don't like to. I like to say I'm not a businessman who happens to believe in God. I'm a man of God who happens to operate a business.
Okay.
It's a difference. I'm not a businessman who happens to believe in God. It's that the business is not first. I'm a man of God that happens to operate a business. But to get there, like many of us, many people, you know, I believe that the Lord, when the Lord wants to put you in a space or in an environment or in charge of something, He prepares you. If He want, I don't know if I should. If He want to make you a steward over something, He prepares you, and it's a lot of years of preparation sometimes, and I had my fair share of being prepared. I went I grew up in a impoverished environment. My family, we I didn't come from a rich background or a family that had money. It was a kind of real poor background. My mom and my brothers. But one of the things my mom instilled in us from a young age is knowing God. God was our source. God was we learned that we cannot from a young age that listen, we will not be able to make it without Him. We it was so bad. We I can remember we growing up in my mom and my brothers in the house, and you get up in the morning and you can hardly walk because rats would eat the bottom of your feet and so on. And there was the kitchen was under the house. We used to live in a high house, and the kitchen was under. You from the country. We said the kitchen in the bottom house,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to make laugh of it because, like, if my mom, she's downstairs cooking or something, and she said, "I need the salt," or "I need something," we don't have to run downstairs. We just pass it through the floor. So it was really really tough. But looking back, it I said to someone the other day, I wouldn't want it no other way, because what it did, it built it built us, it built character, it taught us to be contented. It taught us a level of how to treat people, even in the stage when most of my mom sons are businessmen. All of us have some kind of business that we do. So we from that young age, we believe that the Lord was preparing us from a young age for what He knew was coming. And it helped. It really helped me to this day. I understand, what it means to love people, not just have a employer employee relationship, and the bottom line is the bottom line, and you don't care about the people. It helped me to understand that the people first. There's a song that said, using things and loving people, that's the way it ought to be. But loving things and using people will only leads to misery. So we learned that from a very young age. Credit to my mom. She really made sure that, in the midst of all the poverty, in the midst of all the struggle, that God was the ultimate. That was our ultimate. He would be our ultimate goal. He would be our ultimate refuge. He would be our strength. And we grew up with that foundation. So regardless of where life would take us, we knew that whatever challenge might come, it will just go by after a while. It'll just be a season, and the tomorrow will come. And so it was I didn't it's not a case where you born and you grow into some kind of money, and a lot of that happens a lot. And those portions that came before you left something for you to manage, or so on, and you continue. That wasn't the case. It's just a simple case of, for me, and I'm not sure for my brothers, but we're talking about me right now, is where it was a strategic plan, I believe, a strategic plan in which God prepared me over the years to know what it means to don't have, to know what it means to not have and don't know who to turn to except for Him, to know what it means to go and empower community, to know what it means. Because when you grow up in a community, and those days when you don't have, you don't feel like you don't have, because everybody in the community live in the same way. So you don't know the difference. You feel like, at the time, sometimes you feel like you're the one that have and they don't have. But because everybody live in the same way, so it teaches you a lot of humility. And so when the time comes and He put you as a steward, then you have a responsibility to go back into the world and show and be a testimony.
So my brother, at that juncture there, and you on to the Conversation Motivational Hour. Tonight is the first night opener back, where we bring in guests on every Saturday night. And Deacon Edie is the men fellowship leader of Sanctuary of His Present Kingdom Ministry, which are under his leadership in the men's department. And Deacon Edie is also a businessman. So if you have your young son and you need proper mentorship, good mentorship, godly mentorship in the sphere of business, you want mentorship in this, your son start learning servant heart and be in community mindedness and so on, send them down to Sanctuary of His Presence. And we have capable men. Deacon Edie is not the only business owner in our congregation. We have Sherwin Labasti, have a landscaping business also in Sanctuary of His Presence and so forth. I also have a merchandise, which is also hats and clothing, but they are more into the branding aspect and so forth and such like. And we have many more businesses that are smaller in spirit and in nature of Sanctuary of His Presence. So You can send a young man there and they will be mentor in whatever you see they're lagging behind. Probably if they need little catching up or on their work at school, they're back in terms of catching up with their school classes and so on and so forth. You can come down to Sanctuary Express. We'll help them to get a GPA back on track. They may need some resume writing. There's someone in our congregation can help them with resume, prepare them for interviews and so on and such like. But we get down with the deacon, he gonna tell you about his thriving business, if he have any opening, if he have any scope of employing, he's gonna tell you anything on that aspect. And also, if you need counseling, you can come down to Sanctuary Spirit. We have counselors. If you're looking for chaplain, we have chaplains. I can't tell you the number I find, and I don't want to come here and give you a number which is not maybe true in nature, because my brain is a little bit per percentage of tiredness, and I want to tell you 15, 10, 5, 3, and I don't want to lie, because it's not good to lie. And then next thing you recognize, it's ramification when you lost trust. But anyway, you could come down to Sanctuary's present. We share the mantra where God dwell and love live. With that being said, Deacon Eddie, I want us people to understand, that we didn't just arrive to where we are. I know about wearing and me don't clothes. You wear clothes that you could not afford, a new brand clothes. Then school, you don't know what your school uniform is going to be like for September 1st. Everybody going out with new bag, new sneakers, you understand, fresh haircut and so forth. And sometimes you even don't know what lunch is coming from. You may have a little hot tea to go to school. You know if you're coming home to lunch, you know what I mean? But one thing, it has taught us how to value people. It has taught us how to love on people. It has taught us how to care for people. We didn't have it all. Sometimes you don't know, when you eat a little chicken, you knock the plate, with a spoon. That if people passing, he eat something good. But sometimes, when you're going to see chicken again, you know what I mean? Sometimes a little oil, can't buy the whole bottle oil. You buy a little oil and them kind of stuff like that. You couldn't buy things by the box. You got to buy things by the glass and so forth. So that has taught us humility. That has taught us how to embrace things. So I want to hand over to you, and you continue in that vein of transition.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, you learn, you learn, and it all comes back to character too, because you can grow up, in the same condition or in the same situation or under the same circumstances, and still, as when opportunity comes, you can still change and become a different person. So it all comes back to one, character, and having God, be, um God. If we understanding the thing about being a man of the kingdom and having a business, there are some principles, is understanding that number one, God is actually the CEO. There is no such thing as I'm a CEO, you're a CEO. God is actually the CEO. We are just steward. And if we understand that principle or that connection, that I'm just a steward. A lot of times we as men, especially sometimes or people in the whole, we once we have some type of material thing, we allow our flesh to get to us to think that, oh, I own this and I own that, and we have to always understand that we don't really own anything. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof is His. And if we truly embrace that, then loving people and not allowing it to get to our heads is it becomes easy, right? It becomes easy. So for me, growing up and understanding what it means to don't have, learning the humility in that, what it means to not have a lot of people to call on except God, that teaches that builds faith. That helps me in even now in when we might go through seasons of drought, because one of the things we must understand in the kingdom, we're in the kingdom, and there's some assurances we have from the word, and we understand that, listen, once you're in business, it don't eliminate you from having challenges. It don't keep you from not from going through stuff that everybody is going through. Diesel price is shooting up right now. Not because I'm in the kingdom, it means my business don't have I can't my drivers can't go to the gas station and say, hey, my boss is a Christian and we need the fuel for the same price it was last week. That don't happen. So it don't shield us from the situation. But what it does in the kingdom of God, as having a kingdom mentality, what it does, it gives us assurance that everything is temporary. And so we understand that, hey, regardless of what is going on, number one, this is not your stuff. This is you become a steward of it and you remain a steward. And you said, listen, this is the Lord's thing, and He is gonna provide for it the way He sees it fit. And so that gives you that gives me the assurance to know, hey, you don't panic in situations. You don't panic. The average man might panic. The average man, I mean, we do our work. We you do your budgeting, and because all that falls under being a good steward. You have to make sure you have to take care of the little things. My favorite scripture: "Who is faithful in little things will be faithful in much." So you still do your work, you still be diligent, but you must understand that. But you also have the confidence to know that regardless of what is going on, regardless of what the circumstances around you, there is assurance there. There you have that calm assurance that it will be all right, because regardless of what happened, I'm just the steward. And you also must understand too that as a steward, the CEO could come and say, "Hey, we're moving in a different direction," and you still have to be faithful to that CEO, and trust that whatever direction he decides to move to, you have to understand and put yourself under that, and follow his direction. So
So
that
I love that point, Deacon Edie, and I want somebody to understand tonight. And I love what you said pointedly, that not because you are a Christian businessman that you are exempted from the struggles of life.
correct.
Many people are listening to us tonight and they're questioning the struggles that they're going through because maybe it is presented to them. I don't know. That from the time you become a Christian, all your sorrows are gone, all your challenges are gone. There'll be no more pain. You'll be in Glorious Street, Hallelujah Boulevard. You will be in Praise Avenue. But I want someone to understand tonight that not because you become a Christian, you will be exempted from your struggles. You'll be exempted from setbacks. As a matter of fact, I think it will be even more. So my brothers help you to understand that as a Christian businessman, he owns a trucking company now. For alluding at this juncture, he is business over what? He is into the trucking company and he owns the company. And he alluded that his driver cannot go tomorrow with the soaring gas price and say, well, my boss is a men's ministry leader at Sanctuary's Presence, and he is also a deacon at Sanctuary's Presence. Can you give me the price yesterday? The cops will take him away. Also, someone may ask before I hand over to you, where is Sanctuary's Presence located? It's located at 1999 Parker's Court, Stone Mountain, Georgia. With that being said, my brother, how can Christian pursue wealth?
Ooh, how can Christian pursue wealth? First, ah, that's a good one. First, Christian can pursue wealth. It's not we a lot of times and I think it's one of the I don't know if it's from old teachings. I don't know what it is, but a lot of times um, we think that we as a Christian, is not is not something we should pursue, if that's the right term. It's not something we should ask for. It's not something we should seek, which is totally against. If you the thing is if it becomes more important, if it replaces God, that's the line. If you be pursuing wealth as a Christian is not the issue. The issue is if you pursue it at the expense of God, where meaning if it consumes your every thought, it consumes your every action, it consumes, and as a businessman, that's a struggle. It's not an easy thing if you're in business or you're trying to become a person in business. It can be very challenging to maintain that um that place where you know that, listen, my utmost my utmost I must this is what I should seek the most must be Christ. I can't go after this wealth or go after this business or go after whatever it is at the expense of seeking his kingdom first. Right? We must always keep in the back of our head or minds that my first my first priority is to seek his kingdom. That should be my priority. It means I shouldn't I my seeking being in business or trying to start a business or trying to grow a business or whatever, it should not now, it should not replace my time in prayer. It should not replace my time in studying the word. It should not replace my time in fellowship. It should not replace anything. There is no way where, for example, I should not say I cannot come to fellowship on a almost every Sunday or on a regular basis. No, there might be a time or one or a couple of time here and there where I can say, okay, I had a pressing issue, but it's not. But sometimes with some of the problems we have is not, and it's not even in business. It's in our work, in our job, in many things we get so consumed with that thing that we don't even sit sometimes to realize, you know what, I'm spending so much time. My brother told me, if 10% if 10% is 10% in every aspect. If you have 24 hours, you have 24 hours in a day, 2 hours and 40 minutes should be, given to him. And so, and what could happen? We could get so caught up in trying to pursue wealth and pursue things in business, that we can miss and we can forsake the CEO, and forsake Christ. And the thing about it is, a lot of times we don't. The devil would dangle it in front of us. He would, because the wealth don't just come from wealth. He gives to, we have to understand, and he would give us things that will, if you see it, that this is the thing that can distract you from um your walk with Christ. Is something he would, he could do what he got to do to make to allow that too. So we have to always, and that comes from, and if we don't have the right mindset, we wouldn't recognize. That's why our battle is in the mind, and we have to always fight in that battle. So it's for as a believer, seeking being wealthy or having stuff is not an issue. We just can't allow it to take the place of our God. We can't allow it to take the place of who He is. We can't allow it to. We can't put so much energy into it that we're putting more energy into that rather than energy into what we're supposed to be seeking
So
for, which is the
I, lo-
kingdom.
I, lo- I love what you say. And that is so important, that the structure that you are talking to. And I want someone to understand tonight in terms of, can Christian pursue well? But once you have that structure, success is built upon a principle. But when you put fundamental on that principle, so you have that structure, my brother, the CEO, the visionary, the owner didn't arrive at that place. He first was an employee, but he developed a structure and the principle, that structure, and then he put the fundamental principle. And that what he alluding tonight is that you cannot totally replace God. God has to be the head of that structure. The word of God says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. So in this structural mindset for your business, you have to see God. And I love what you said, 2 hours, 43 or 45 minutes belongs to God. That is the 10th of the day of 24 hours. Just 2 hours, 43 seconds, you are tithing to God, right? And I love that. And that tells me that you are a man of structure, and that you put the fundamental on the principle. The principle is acknowledging God. The principle is seeking God. But the fundamental now, how many times you will plug in now into God. And I love what you're saying. So tonight, I want you to talk about the importance now in terms of Christian pursuing wealth, about taking risk. We must have to be a measure of risk taker. Before I hand over to you quickly, I want to make this quick point to bring you to the part that you can continue adding flesh to this bone. Because, you know, we believe as Christian that we pray everything into being. Forget about the working part. So I want you to talk now as a businessman, because I know you're a man of prayer and so on and so forth. But you had to take a measure of risk outside praying with encapsulate work. So let's help somebody to move now the needle from believing in fasting and praying, but they have to put some work so they can pursue the wealth. My brother.
Yeah. Well, faith without work is dead. So that's the first thing. You work. You must work and risk. The thing about, risk and chances are dangerous things. So they go hand in hand in terms of prayer. You spend, we covered, you spend time being prepared without you knowing that you are being prepared. So that as you grow, you realize, oh, I was being prepared. And then you spend time in prayer. One of the things we do a lot of times is we get into business, or we get into a lot of things, and we don't spend the necessary time in prayer trying to get guidance on, should I do this, should I not do this, how should I do this. Most decisions I make now comes after time, hours in prayer, because you can mess things up. And again, when you understand who the CEO is, you have to go to him to get instructions. So prayer is a foundation. I wouldn't encourage anybody, because of the challenges you will face. The one prayer is a big deal. You must have that. But so once you get, you built your everything on a foundation of prayer, and you fasted, you move with a form of confidence, knowing, hey, I've prayed, and I've waited. I've prayed, I've fasted. Prayer and fasting is a form of sacrifice. And I've waited. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of eagle. So you're trying to go up. And so you have to follow these principles. We have to. We call, I like to call them principles of business. Is a subject we used to do in school, but in the kingdom I still apply. These are principles of business. You pray, you fast, and wait. You pray, you fast, and wait. A lot of times we might pray and move. A lot of times we don't fast. A lot of times we pray, we fast, and move. But you follow, you pray, fast, and wait.
So my
And
brother, at this juncture,
Mhm.
You notice I don't carry wrong pen and books, right? That's what I got know when I get old because I think I have an elephant memory. And
Right.
it's going to be a testament for you to know that I have an elephant memory. I zone in without
Mm,
notes and pen. I
mhm,
want you to, at this juncture, someone to understand. I want you to share your testimony before we go to the second point. How do you balance business and faith? But
mm,
I want you to share that testimony that bring that transition. And here is your testimony to
mm.
allude that I listened very diligently and very keenly, even not taking notes. When you knelt in that truck that day, and that was your crossroad of transitioning in your life, give that testimony that someone can be challenged tonight based on all that you're saying tonight.
Yeah, well, that's a good. I like that because I was billing to something, but that wasn't the point. But I like that point, which I would go on. You pray, you fast, you wait. I was waiting for a very long time. I was waiting for a very long time, going through a lot of things. And one night I was in my truck, and um I I knew that that wasn't all that I was supposed to be. I knew I wasn't just supposed to be a driver and a struggling driver. At the time, I was a struggling driver, driving just to put food on the table, and I knew that that wasn't my lot. So I got off my bed and I went on my knees and I prayed, and I had one of the most honest pray you can ever. I I don't know if there's such a thing, but I said, Lord, I understand you said I have to work. You said if a man don't work, he can't eat bread. By the sweat of the brow I will eat bread. I understand I will have to work. I'm never gonna complain about working. I understand that. That is your word. That is your promise. I'm not negotiable. That is non-negotiable. What I cannot do on my own is have opportunities. And there, that's where I need you to. That's where I am coming to you. I'm asking you just for an opportunity. Just give me an opportunity to become. Just give me an opportunity to be a good steward. Give me an opportunity to be a good servant. And I got up from my knees that night, and the whole. I'm not saying I didn't have challenge after that, but I had direction, and every the tide changed from that specific night evening that I had that prayer. I from there I was led to my mentor. I went to her home. We had a conversation. She gave me some advice, and everything took off after that prayer. I know that specifically because you know it because I didn't tell you tonight. So you know I shared it before, but it that's why I come back to sometimes we fast, we pray, and we wait, and then we go back to we go to him and said, listen, I've been waiting. I'm I'm asking now. I'm asking for an opportunity. And he give it now. I still sometimes I say I have to go back and see if I could renege on the work part because I still work hard. But at the same time, I understand. I admit that this is what I have to do. I have to work hard, but I'm asking for the opportunities. And man, I cannot I cannot tell you he never fails, man. He came. I have opportunities that my qualification don't allow me to. I don't have much qualification in terms of um, books and so on. So definitely some of the places and spaces and people I've met is basically because of him and the gift. He said, "My gift will make room for me and bring me before great men." So it's just because of him and my gift that helped me, and that prayer, yeah, that is a testimony that I will take forever. I still have that truck. I don't It's old, but I don't want to give it up because of what it meant. But that altar, there's an altar there. There's an altar in there that I always can go to, and I don't forget that story. That
love
testimony.
and I love that testimony. And one more before we get to the second question, because what we're doing, we are coaching, we are mentoring people, we are helping people to build up themselves in their faith to trust God tonight. Somebody right now, tomorrow, because of tonight, tomorrow they're gonna go and get a tax ID, the LLC. They're gonna go and get it, go to GRA, get a license, and they're gonna pray over it. They're gonna have some prayer warriors and faith warriors both work together. Don't get a prayer warrior alone. Get a faith warrior with you. I don't want prayer warriors alone in my corner. That's why June we are celebrating 12 years of this podcast, because I have faith warriors, movers and shakers in the background that some people would never know. And I don't know why sometimes people who help you don't want people to know that. I don't know, but sometimes you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. You can force people beyond, the recognition that they deserve. Beside the point, I want you to talk tonight is that when you leave a paying job to go to drive truck for a meager job, because tonight some people in a situation where they don't want to settle, they want a way out, and the only thing is move on the principle of faith. If you have faith as a grain, as a mustard seed, you can say to that mountain in your life, just as my brother kneel down in that truck and say, talk to God. So my brother, tell us tonight, about that time when you leave a well-paying job to start driving truck, which is far less tonight.
Oh man, that was a tough decision because I have kids and family bills to pay. I was working in Long Island, New York. I was driving. We used to deliver wine and spirits, and it was a union job. It was a well-paying job, and but again, I figure. And looking back now, looking back, I believe it was the hand of God on my life. But I could remember when I choose that I'm going to leave the job. I was some weeks I was take home $1,500, 1,700. This is New York. I was getting paid good, and it always over time because you delivering in Brooklyn and Manhattan and so on. The traffic alone is going to eat up just your regular hours. So I was making good money, and I decided I'm gonna leave this to go into trucking. And I left that job, pay me between 15 and $2,000 to go and start driving for 400 and about 400 and something dollars before taxes. And now, mind you, I have rent to pay. Nothing changed in terms of my expenses, but my income went down extremely down, man. And I could remember the manager of the company called me and he said, "Hey, what are you doing? This is a good job. This is a union job. How can you? All you people are fighting to get this job. You quitting the job." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm quitting the job." You sure? I don't. I mean, anywhere I work, I try to put my best foot forward, do a good job, offer me a raise on top of what I was making. And at the time, I was in orientation for trucking, and I was like, no, man, I think this is the way I need to go. I need to start a career. And with that, I know I can grow. I can become a manager. I can become a supervisor or something there. But that's still not where I see myself. And so I love to drive. This is my skill, and I want to use this skill that I have and see if I can put it in a field where I can become more than just a driver for I'm not knocking anything, but that's where I saw myself. And um and it was a tough move. It was a difficult decision, but it was looking back, it was a crossroad that I could have what if I had said, you know what, I'm making good money here. I don't I'm gonna stay here. I'm pretty sure I probably would have been still working there. I had to leave home at 5 in the morning, rain or snow, sometimes snowy out there. In New York, you have to be a real snow to shut everything down.
Mhm.
And you leave in the night and you return at night. And that would have been my lot every day if I did. But I step out by faith give up a lot of money at that time and step out by faith. And looking back now, it's one of the best decisions I've made.
Yeah, so therefore tonight someone listening to us and at the crossroad with their job and their dream. You
Yeah.
hire your job while you work on your job and your dream. You cannot be, everyone cannot be like my brother. But then the time you will fire your job and hire your dream, because it's your dream that will get you the wealth of the Lord. So tonight, my brother, I want you to talk to us about how do you balance business and faith?
But you can't separate the two, of course. Faith is what guides the business. You can't separate the two. It is, yeah, in the kingdom, it is what you build your business on. But and so it's important to know that there are some, there are your principles as a kingdom, as a Christian in business. It must be built. Your business must be built on righteousness. It must be built on righteousness. Um, you can't doing thing behind the scene and saying, they're not gonna know. You can't underpaying people knowing that you're making a whole lot, and you just underpaying them because you want to build your bottom line. And you're saying, listen, if I pay them a little more, it's going to reduce my profit. And you're making a hell of a lot of profit. So
Mhm.
it's, those things might happen in the world. I'm not saying those things might happen, but in the kingdom, when as an entrepreneur, those are things you have to be conscious of, that you can't do things the same way. Righteousness have to be their main thing. You have to be righteous in every way. Um, you can't, cheat people, out of things. You can't do that anywhere. But I'm saying, as a kingdom businessman or businesswoman, there are principles. Your principles, your integrity, all these things have to be on point. It tie into the word, because what I always say is that the employees or your other business partner, they may not see, but remember, again, you're a steward with a CEO, and your CEO eyes are everywhere. You see where eyes are everywhere, and his consequences is different from the consequences of the world, and you don't want his consequences to fall on us. So it is important. Your faith, your business, they go hand in hand. You have to build it on that. You have to build it to know that regardless of what, your faith stands, your integrity stands, you're a representation of the kingdom. And if someone comes to work for you, or what the case may be, they must know that, hey, this business is built on kingdom principles, and they feel confident in that. If a driver, if for some reason a mistake is made where one of my employees' money isn't right, they don't call me to curse me out. Oh, you this. They know that, okay, this have to be a mistake. And those are things we must, as a kingdom person in business, we must maintain. It's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. The principles and the kingdom principles and the standards that God expects of you don't change because you're in business. You bring that to the business. Regardless, you might everybody else around you might be doing business one way. I one of my partner, we go to seminar every year, and when I was explaining to one of the guys that this is how I pay my drivers, and they told me I would be out of business 5 years ago. They told me that I'm still in business, because you understand, they didn't think it was a right thing, but I think it was a righteous thing. So you build on that, and you trust God, and God see you through, based off of the fact that you trust him and you do the right thing.
So I love that. And also our final question is, what advice will you give to young entrepreneur? And also at the end of that explanation, I want you to talk about your thesis that you developed with your memoir and your book about all that we chronicle tonight, because people understand I have my acting industry that I'm building, and I trust God it will ever come to fruition in my lifetime. I hope it would, that I will have a kind of something from my investment, which is called Zero to Hero TV family. I trust it will be in my lifetime that I can have some dividends. But listening to you chronicling as we go through tonight, from your zero and now you are the hero, you are the Zoe life, the 30 life, the God life. Help some young person, give them some advice, and then tell us about your memoir to be released or your book to be released about your zero to hero, from your struggle to where you are.
Well, for young for believers in the whole, I don't want to say young because you can be my age and still want to go in business. But first, of course, seek God first. That's the best thing. That's the first thing. That's your priority. Build on integrity, because that will tie in. Once you see God first and you build your business on Him, you will build on integrity and focus on purpose before profit. You know, a lot of times we focus on profit and leave purpose. I focus on purpose because purpose is what God created you to do. And if we focus on purpose, God will make sure that we get the profit to fulfill the purpose. So it all ties into his plan. So build, you focus on God, build on integrity. In the kingdom, success is not just measured by, how much revenue you have and all of that. It on how much money you have. In the world, that people might look at you as a successful person based on how much money you have. But in the kingdom, your success is not based on that. It's based on your character. It's based on your walk. Make your business decisions based off of faith. Not every opportunity come from is a God opportunity.
Mhm.
But you want to make sure you pray and you know what opportunity God is this an opportunity from God, and then use the business as a ministry. A lot of times is these are these it's such a beautiful thing when you have a business and you can use it as a ministry. Use it for missions. I have budget that is specifically set aside for missions, and that is like the main budget. I don't let it be put a thing aside for this, put a thing aside. No, it is budgeted for ministry and for missions. So when I go to do missions, I don't I don't go first looking for sponsors. And I'm not saying, I'm saying this to make a point. I pray and I know this is what the Lord sent me to do. And the thing about God, when He sends you to do something, automatically you start seeing people coming around you that willing to work and willing to help. Like, as you know, that we do this thing back in Guyana, this Village Day, and the amount of phone calls I received this year about person that wants to, let's form a committee for this. Let's form they put the idea out there of forming committee for different things, and the amount of people that are called to volunteer to serve in this committee, to serve in X committee, to serve in Y committee. So you make your business a ministry. In my company, everybody know that you want prayer, you can either call me or you call our next believer we have working here, and you at least you don't have to go outside of work if you need prayer. If you're going through whatever family emergency, my phone would ring. They know I can call him and he's gonna pray with me or he's gonna encourage me in something. So if I go to my partners that I do business with, they know my principles. They would ask, Hey man, always church. And if they're dealing with stuff, sometimes they might pull me to the side, man. You know what? I've been dealing with this, and if please remember me in prayer and these kind of things. So you make your making a business a ministry is bigger than you would think. It is a ministry.
So
So
thank you very much, Deacon Edie Clark of Sanctuary's Presence Kingdom Ministry, our men's ministry leader, our bass guitar player, CEO, and visionary of Rema Trucking, the visionary of the Village Day in Linden. I want to thank you, my brother, my friend. I'm under his mentorship in the men department. And if you don't have a church home, because now I could shift gears, we are from the same local place of worship, Sanctuary's Presence, Kingdom Ministry, where God dwell and love live. We have our leadership, our chief apostle, Dr. Wedland Seeley, co-apostolic leader, Dr. Virginia Seeley, our senior pastor, Pastor Seon W. Remember the W that make the difference, W. Seeley, and then our administrative pastor is Pastor Seon Rodney. And we have different departments. We have our women's department, men's department, our youth department, our music department. Come down if you don't have a home church. We don't want you to be spiritually homeless. We don't want you to be there without feeling a sense of worth. You can come to our men's department. You hear from our men leader tonight, and it's so fitting that you can understand what leadership you is going to receive. Deacon didn't say anything about the book, but we're going to leave that for another time. And
yeah.
after your soft launch, because of the interest of time. And I just want to thank each and everyone for tuning in to my brother, my friend, Dickie E. Clark. And tonight I want to thank from the Conversation Motivational Platform, our tribe, our community, and our village. I just want to thank you so much for taking time off your busy schedule. And for each and every one, tonight is the launching, not first time, but we relaunching because of many calls. Why they're not having an opportunity to come on as guests on the show. I had needed a break from that stint of our night, and my break is officially over. And tonight is the relaunching for this moment until next winter. I will take a long break also from the night program. So if you want to be a guest on the show, you can reach out to me, reach out to anyone that knows me, because most of my people don't want, I don't know. It's getting to my toe bone, but you have to understand people rights and whatever it is. But anyone you know that knows me, reach out to them and they're gonna get it to me. And I believe in a team community work, and we're gonna come and we're gonna power out. Everything that we have is not for us. I've never seen a tree, my brother, eat his own fruit, but the tree made fruit for me to eat. So the knowledge that I have, the knowledge that you have, that we all garner is never for us. It's for someone to pick off the fruit of our tree. So once again, if you want to be on the platform, you want to come and share, you want to come and be a part, you want to have a segment for an hour or so to talk about something, whatever it is, once there's no profanity. Let me put my disclaimer, because I don't want you to feel like you feel hurt or you call me. I'm putting my disclaimer before you call or reach out to the team or anyone. Once there's no profanity, you know what we call profanity. I don't have to go through profanity, and there's no curse or curse being placed from that kind of narration or oration. We will be fine. Are we good to go? So thank you once again. And my brother, would you kindly stay in the green room for a second, that we can just have a moment, and so
Yeah.
once again, thank you, family, tribe, community, and village. And tomorrow we at Sanctuary of His Presence. This handsome young man gonna be there dealing with David, right? David.
David.
That is his thing for our men's department. So I will be a student tomorrow. He will be the teacher tomorrow. He will be talking. I will be listening. We will have a good time tomorrow. With that being said, thank you, family. See you next week, same place, same time. And if you want to be on the platform, reach out to me, anyone that knows me, and you certainly will have a spot. No profanity, no curse or corset is allowed, and we will be fine, well on our way.
Wake up, feel the light, a brand new day in sight. Conversations that uplift, setting your dreams alight. Mindset shifts, empowering quotes, fueling your fire, keeping you afloat. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Uplifting chats, start your day, guiding you gently, showing the way. Empowering words, soothing balm. In our platform, find your calm. Mindset shift, embrace the change. Stay inspired, let your goals
I know he did. He tell me we did. I know he did.
Daily lift, you got this, embrace the gift. Hashtag shift, embrace the change. Stay inspired, let your goals arrange. That's the daily motivation, your daily lift. You got this, embrace the gift. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters